and Roger, you know, from going through the industry, you know, how many incidents are out there that actually don't get reported.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest challenges, right? And another area that I've really been focusing on for probably the last year or so, Greg, is this indirect, really on the IT side. For example, when we talk about ransomware for OT, I think there's very few examples of ransomware actually going south of that industrial DMZ and getting to the process control network or even control system network. I think the most common thing that we see is on the IT side, where it has an indirect impact. In other words, a business decision is to shut down and stop production to either avoid spreading. So it's a containment strategy, or they're forced to do so from a business perspective. For example, whether it's a billing like Colonial Pipeline, whatever the case may be, but it's really an IT incident by the classic definition, even though it had the same cyber physical impact of shutting down production. So in that case, does that make it into Strife?
If it shuts down the manufacturing process. Now, if it shuts down the IT process and manufacturing is still running along, then no, it doesn't.
Well, no. How about if they make a decision to shut down production?
It's
a gray area, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a very gray area. Colonial Pipeline, for instance, that was a classic case. That was OT hurt by it? Well, technically, no. But yes, it was because they had to shut down. Yeah. But it was a purely an IT incident. So that we take that in terms of for our database and our threat report, we take that on a case by case basis because sometimes for instance, Colonial, I mean, that caused a panic on the Eastern Seaboard for what 3 or 4 days. I mean, I was caught in. I'm sure you were
too.
So that was a classic case of the OT incident causing causing an OT incident.
But it is definitely an example, I think, Greg, of the impact is the same, right? But I would also argue now that hackers, it's about the mission, right? And what is the mission they're trying to accomplish? And that's to get paid, right? It's financial gains from a ransomware perspective. And I think hackers inherently they're coders. And having been an ex-coder myself, you're inherently lazy. And if I can accomplish my goal or my mission without going any further, I'm not going to. Why would I? So if I can accomplish the mission by attacking the easier to get to IT systems, why are they easier? Because everything is connected, right? Yeah. So if I've conducted my research and I can impact those IT systems and have the same impact of forcing that company to shut down operations, the impact is the same. You're not able to produce your goods and transport those goods to a point of sale and sell those goods. So I have impacted that.
Well, the best thing that ever happened for hackers was digitalization, because that means the amount of connectivity coming into the OT side is just astronomical compared to what it was. So, yes, it's great for companies. It's great for them to become more productive and a lot better. But if I'm a hacker, I find, as you say, the easiest way to get in, and then once you're in, and then you can kind of worm your way around and pivot here, pivot there. Then all of a sudden, bam, you can threaten to shut down operations. You can threaten to take over, the enterprise.